Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to be talking about what you should be farming this week. There's a lot of things going on. Things have been changing. Things have been updating. So let's go ahead and dig in. Now, the Tombstone Goetia B have been updated. So previously, this was kind of a daily Truststone Shard grind. It is now limited to 4. So if you did get the blue version of these yesterday, you are going to be able to get an extra UR Truststone, which is pretty cool. But of course, most of the farming this week is going to be focused on Truststones. There's a couple of reasons for that. The Truststone conversion is monthly, so you do want to hit your Truststone cap for the month before April hits. You're going to be able to farm 12 Truststones per month, so being able, well, 12.5 technically, 15 if you're counting the 0.5s as whole Truststones, but you want to be able to max out the amount of Truststones that you're going to be able to get per month. So of course you're going to be farming Truststones quite regularly, but you also want to try and pick up these tickets whenever available. One of the things I prioritized actually is the score medals. And the reason I prioritize these score medals is because I can pick and choose which Truststones I get, so that if I have holes in my Truststones, I can easily just grab these and fill them in. The score is pretty easy to get. I'll show you kind of all the missions that count. Basically, any elemental mission that you do is going to have access to giving you a score, and that's going to give you score coins, and then you can grab basically whatever you need from the shop. Now, there is also the Raid Revival medals, which you can see I've already grabbed everything here. I would say keep this in your mind. This is pretty easy to do. And I'll show you real quick just what my formation is for this, because I think a lot of people don't realize how easy soloing the brutal version of the Final Fantasy IV Raid Revival actually is, because it is really easy with the right units, and almost everybody will have access to those. The item exchange shop, this is of course what I was talking about in terms of maxing things out. So for each of these Truststones, you do want to make sure to max out the monthly limited 50 of these. And it does feel like there is a return to multi-farming almost. Particularly because you can farm the Truststones in multi. So while you can always access the Truststones right here, every day there's going to be a 2x drop, and the fact that you can farm these in multi, it just feels like there's a transition back to almost an older time of War of the Visions, where a lot more people are participating in multi, a lot more people are doing multi, just to build up their base, because you are going to need the purple, blue, and green to convert into Truststones to update the skills of your abilities, right? If you want your skills upgraded, you need to convert, you need to upgrade the skills by feeding them Truststones. You're also going to need these as base materials. So there's a lot of people out there right now that are farming the multi version for these. So keep that in mind as you are going through everything that you're grinding this week, because we do only have, let's see here, we have actually 7 days from now to cap out our Truststones for the month. So there's going to be quite a grind. There's of course Locke's weapon, Celeste's weapon, and Terra's weapon. We have 33 days on these. I would not chase these right away. I think right now you need to be focused on getting those Truststones, farming those Truststones, potentially putting all of your NRG into those Truststones. This is very similar to when EXs first came out, right? And everybody was having to farm Alcris Chamber 6, right? Because you were getting a whole bunch of these new Alcris everywhere. Everybody had to farm the new Red Room that had come out, right? Because they wanted these kind of sword tablets, right? This is very similar right now to that, where you should just be farming Truststone Chamber every day with the new double drop of the day, so that you can kind of build up your reserve of Truststones and kind of get your account ready and headed in that direction. The other thing I would say as well for farming in regards to Truststones, before I get into some of the specifics of what I'm doing, is making sure, if you may not be at this point yet, you may not quite understand what I'm talking about, but make sure you're using your daily dismantle and assembly amounts here, because there is, I can actually show you guys here. Let's show it on a yellow rune here. Let's just say I'm going to forge this AP rune, and you'll see I'll get an ability, and I didn't see what ability it is, but it's a yellow ability, so I know I'm not really going to care about it. So I'm going to take a look at what that yellow ability was, and it was an AP rune, so I got to go find it first. It's this one right here. And one thing you'll notice, damage limit up is actually one I kind of want. But you'll notice here that you have total times dismantled. So if you are farming abilities, you want to be able to farm all of these abilities up that you need. You should only really be farming for red abilities, but maybe some of you out there are farming for MR abilities right now, because you're not going to be able to, for a while, have red trust stones on all of your TMR runes. Is absolutely a possibility, so keep that in mind. In the multi, I'll show you guys what I've been farming. It's been pretty good. I've been having pretty good runs in here. I've been almost exclusively farming the Raid Revival and the Final Fantasy XIV missions. Raid Boss Revival is actually super easy. I have only tested this with Venera, but I think almost any evasion unit can probably solo this if you give them access to bells. But you'll see here, Venera is quite easily able to solo this. I didn't even have to optimize her particularly in any way. I did have to turn off some of her long range abilities, so Poison Sting I turned off is the only thing I did, just so that it forces her to use bells on the first turn. And literally nobody can hit her. The sharpshooters might get a single hit in, and even if they do get a single hit in, Venera has an HP draining ability. She never gets hit. She literally is just gonna sit here, and she's going to solo down the boss relatively easy. And this is the brutal difficulty, so if you do want to be farming this relatively quickly, you know, go for evasion. I don't know if Elena can do this. I'm sure she probably can. The boss is weak to slash. So pretty much I would say maybe Shadow Lynx could do this. Shadow Lynx does technically have more evasion than Venera, but I feel like it does get to a point here where Venera has to hit multiple times to get AP. So maybe if I turned off Venera's LB and I put maybe like some AP regen on her, like some acquired AP up, maybe Shadow Lynx could do this and like have like one turn left over. But this is basically what I've been doing for the raid rerun farm, and it's been working pretty easy for me. For the Final Fantasy XIV mission for Goetia B, I've been mostly farming with my Ibarra. So I've been mostly just farming the multi for Ibarra. And again, I'm doing this in multi. One raid rerun is only in multi. But in multi, everything is half NRG cost, and you can actually solo most of the multis if you didn't know. So I've been mostly just having my Ibarra solo this one for half NRG, and I've been able to get quite a good amount of tombstones to kind of finish off those missions. And then I will probably transition into potentially soloing the Trust Stone Chambers. I was able to actually find groups out there that were doing the Trust Stone Chambers, so you can reliably join and run these. You could of course solo these with your regular teams if you wanted to. That's going to be mainly in the far plane. You could even event skip ticket if you want, but there's going to be so many of these Trust Stone Chambers that we're going to be farming for the next, you know, week, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Like, you are literally going to be farming these. Like, you should all be farming these Trust Stone Chambers every single day. Very similar, again, to EXs. You want to build up those tablets. You want to do things right. And the NRG cost is so high that farming at half NRG, like you can see here, Ibarra is kicking ass. Ibarra is not going to need any help. If my Ibarra can do this, your Ildira can probably do this, or Halloween Leela. Potentially even like a Mont could do this if you're a newer player. You know, you have access to the capability to EX Mont now, and We actually tested in Final Fantasy 14 with Mont the other day, because I had newer players in my stream, and they were like, well, how do I farm this if I don't have, like, you're using Ibarra, I only have Mont, right? Well, Mont can solo this still. I know we don't think about Mont as the most powerful unit in the world, or the most effective solo farming unit in the world, but Mont can get in here, and he can actually solo these. So if you're a newer player, get in here with Mont, solo these, and kind of just grind this up, because you are going to need a ton of these. Anyway, everybody, if you are wanting to get any of the weapons for Lock Terra Celeste, hold off. Focus on Trust Stones this week. We want to get Trust Stones done before the end of the month. And then, the weapons are going to be here for 33 days. You have a lot of time. Same with like Golden Blade and, all of the other farm areas that are available right now. Just hold off. Just hold off. Focus on Trust Stones. Focus on one thing. And then you can kind of branch out after that. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.